looks like a Mustang, but it doesn't sound like a Mustang. A 2.3 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder makes the Ford Mustang Ecoboost an unconventional muscle car, but can its $45,990 price tag make up for its relative lack of cylinders?
When you look at the numbers, a low 14 second is not hanging around, and just a few years ago that would have been a pretty decent time for a V8. The power delivery of the Ecoboost engine's quite flat, and even though the red line's 6.5, it's all over by 6. If you haven't shifted gear by 6, you're wasting time.
Mustang Ecoboost 140.4. There's something very wrong about a Mustang having a 4-cylinder engine. You sort of think of Mustang as one of the iconic sort of 60s, 70s muscle cars. It just doesn't feel right to think of it with a 4-cylinder engine. In saying that, on track, it's got great sort of mid-corner dynamics. It's handling and all the low-speed stuff. It's actually surprisingly good.
It's funny because in America, they've had 4-cylinder Mustangs since the fuel crisis of the late 70s, early 80s. So they understand a 4-cylinder Mustang. We don't, and I don't. And it sounds like a Briggs & Stratton. Sorry, not for me.
The big question for me was, will it drift? And yes, it will drift. If you chuck it in a little bit, yes, it will go sideways under full power, but it'll drift nonetheless. But yeah, I had surprising fun in the Mustang Ecoboost, but I would buy the V8 Mustang. I'd stump up for it.
Yeah, so the Ford Ecoboost Mustang is a little bit like a sausage roll without the sauce. It looks great, and you get in it and you take it through a couple of corners, and it is also fantastic. There's a balance to its chassis, which is really good. Steering's nice, and you sit in it nice and low that you really like to tackle corners.
The Ecoboost Mustang is great until you drive the V8, but it's great fun to drive. You can really drive it hard, and it responds to that. It's just that, yeah, you need a little bit more in the engine department.
For such a big car, it's pleasantly surprising how good it is in the corners. Just the steering really lacks feel. It's kind of does feel like a 60s Mustang. It's very light, but the feeling you get through the car comes from the seat of the pants, but the feedback through the steering wheel just doesn't give you the confidence to be able to sort of, I suppose, unleash the true potential of the car.